Hey, Tracy.
Hey, what's going on, Jason?
Good,
What's
good.
happening?
Me, not
Cool.
much, not much. How's it going in LA?
It's going good. It's a little bit warm these days. A little warm through the summertime here. We're getting a little. We usually have pretty, light weather, but for us, a little bit warm. 90s, 100s.
Tracy G with me, and what's going on with the career of Tracy G these days?
At the moment, I'm working with my new band, the Tracy G Group. My new member is a drummer named Johnny B. He also does the vocals. The bass player named Eddie Frisco on bass. And we're doing some recording right now, writing some songs, trying to put together a new CD and doing a couple gigs around locally and stuff.
For gear and equipment, did you collect more stuff lately, or?
Equipment-wise,
Yeah,
as far as studio equipment or guitar equipment.
guitar equipment mostly for your tones and
You
stuff.
know, I'm pretty bad with that. Like, I'm pretty like, believe it or not, I have a couple different, maybe a couple guitars that are newer, but as far as my gear, like, you mean
And
amps
effects?
and pedals, you know, amps and the amps and the pedals and all that kind of stuff. I'm using what I used probably on since like '88 or something. Like I've had them forever. Like I don't get new stuff. I just use what I have. Yeah.
And like that, Tracy, it gives you that unique sound.
Well, it does it. I don't know. I think it sounds. I think it sounds pretty good to me. But I know there's a lot of stuff out there, that new stuff that probably kicks ass and sounds great, but it costs a lot of money, man. you know, so I'm like, I just kind of keep what I have and try to make the best out of it. And I think the I think to me, a guitar player's sound and stuff is a combination of things. It's the equipment and the guitars and the pickups in his guitars and the way he plays. It's a combination of all kinds of things. So I just try to make the best out of what I have. I have a couple old Marshalls that I've had forever, and a couple old Randalls that are solid state. They don't make these models anymore. I've had them forever though, and I still to this day get a lot of compliments on the sound though. So I think they sound good, and I guess a few other people feel the same way. So and it does, like you said a minute ago, if somebody sticks to a certain setup, after years and years, they're bound to. They should have their own little thing going on. I think their own little sound. You know what I'm saying?
I think so. And
I
you've
think
kept it.
so. If I if I keep switching, that's cool too. A lot of guys switch because they're trying to better. They want things come out that are better. I know. So that's cool too. But it depends. To each his own. Everybody's different. If I find something that sounds good, I kind of just and I think I can. I have moments where I enjoy my playing, and most of the time I don't like what I'm playing because, like everybody else, we're kind of like a little picky on ourselves and stuff. So if I don't like what I'm playing, I just try to practice more and more and play it until I do it right. But there's been times when I like what I play and I like the sound, and it's coming out of the stuff I've had forever, basically. So I don't have a lot of new equipment to really brag about or talk about. It's all old stuff that a lot of the stuff they don't even make this stuff no more. So I hope it doesn't go out.
Then you'll be stuck if they stop.
Yeah, I know it. I have to find like some repairmen. You know what I mean?
That's how it worked in the old days. Find your repairman.
Yeah, yeah. I'm kind of old, I guess, and old in thinking, and you know what I mean. Like I don't have anything really new, and I know they have nice stuff that's new, but a lot of it I hear it kind of sounds shitty. a lot of the new stuff to me doesn't really turn me on, so I'm just like whatever, you know.
It's all
I mean,
simulated mostly nowadays.
huh?
Simulated stuff to make it sound like the classic amps.
You're right. You're right. What they're trying to do is like, how many times do you hear something says, "Hey, so and so's got a new amp. There's a new company. They got a new amp and everything." And somebody says, "Oh, what kind of sound does it have?" And oh, it's a simulation of an old Marshall. How many times do you hear that?
A lot.
I mean, what's that tell you? That means that means the guys back in the '70s, '60s, and the '70s, where they built these things, they pretty much did it right there. And everything else is just kind of like, they fine tune it and they do things. It's kind of like a copy. But I mean, those old amps to me, I don't know, those old Marshalls. If you can find one that, if you can find one that sounds like, if you can find an old Gibson or an old Stratocaster that plays good, it's hard to beat that, man. It's really, they got a lot of new stuff. Nothing against the new stuff. There's new stuff that kicks ass, I know, but it's just kind of copying. They already did it. They nailed it when they made the killer Les Paul. When they invented that or whatever, and the Strat, the shape, and all that. I mean, it's just hard to beat a Stratocaster. The shape of that guitar is so comfortable. It's almost like that's it. I mean, what else? I mean, this is, I don't
Can't
know.
can't
It's just it's
possibly
what it is.
imagine.
It's just it is what it is, man. It's up to you to learn how to play and do your thing on it. But I mean, there's those guitars and then amps the same way. It's like I don't know. It's kind of like the cars too. If you're into cars, a lot of the old cars, the way they were built and stuff. I mean, of course, there's technology. The technology today is great and everything, and there's a lot of benefits and all that. But maybe the stuff from the older days is a little bit like my stuff's a little bit noisy. Like it's a little bit noisy and a little bit rattly, and I gotta hold a lot of it together with duct tape. But you know what? That's all part of it, though. Like to me, that's all. I don't know. Oh, listen to my rig. It's really quiet. Well, fucking who cares if it's quiet? I want to know what it sounds like when I'm playing. That's what matters to me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
you gotta hear
so
the
what
nuts
if
and
it's a
bolts.
little rattly, man? Listen to the tone of the, you know what I mean? It's like, but some guys are all into perfection and being real, clean and quiet, and that's not me. That's not me. I like the rawness of what's real, and even these Randalls. I know they're solid state, but they kind of have that. Nobody knows they're solid state. They think they're tubes. They're really warm and fat sounding, and a lot of people ask me if they're what they are, and I said they're just Randalls from the '80s, and but again, it's a combination of like how I'm playing and maybe the pickups of my guitars and it's a combination of everything, I guess.
Another thing too, like let's say the music scene in Los Angeles area, how is it doing these days, in your eyes?
Um, I don't know. I don't see a lot of. It's hard to find any really good groups, and they do a lot of that as far as like for bands playing around. That they try to do that pay to play thing a lot, and you know what that is?
Yeah, you pay to play.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. I think. I don't know. That kind of sucks, but it's not too attractive. I don't think. You gotta. It's tough. It's kind of tough, man. Thank God for like the internet and technology. You could tell people about yourselves and promote yourself and try to get people to come see you play on a MySpace or a Facebook or whatever they have, and you can promote and all that stuff. I mean, network, whatever it's called, that helps. That's cool. To try to get people to your shows, and oh man, I don't see a lot of. I just remember back in the day, there's like all kinds of like there just seemed to be all kinds of young bands. There's a lot of young bands today, but maybe it's just I don't see a lot that totally turn my. I don't hear a lot that are like doing stuff that I'm attracted to. It's kind of all the stuff that I've heard before. I've already heard it and seen it and heard it, and it's like, well, I'm attracted to something that's kind of a little bit has a different sound in it. You could do something really old and stuff, but do it with a twist and do it with your own flavor and make
Right.
it sound fresh. I
Yeah.
mean, hey, everything's been done, right? I mean, come on, we're not inventing the wheel or anything. We're just playing music. But like, do it, throw a twist on it or something. I love blues and classic rock, and that's how I grew up. I know it's all old and stuff, but that's where it all comes from. It turns into metal to me. To me, metal is just blues, but just played a lot heavier.
Right.
Black Sabbath, Black Sabbath, the perfect example, right? Tony Iommi, just from day one, way back when, he's probably like a blues guy. When he was a little kid, once he started playing, I bet you just playing the basic blues, and then, then all of a sudden they turned it up and made it a little bit more scarier and heavier, and it becomes metal, and you know what I mean. It comes from blues, though. I think it comes from blues. The good kind of guitar playing, I think, comes from blues, and then you can play it heavier and play it more pissed off and change it up a little. But I'm trying to answer your question, but I know I keep going off the subject, I guess. But the scene over here, I don't know, man. I think it's a scene around the whole world, probably. I don't know. Where are you calling me from? Where are you at?
Nova Scotia, Canada.
Canada. I was thinking you're back east somewhere. Okay.
Yeah, I use a New York number, but.
Oh, okay. What about? Over there, like where you are, is there like?
Well, it's hard to
kind of
say.
thing?
It's like the economy is struggling with everyone,
Yeah,
musically.
that's true too.
So.
Oh yeah, that don't help,
I mean, do you foresee in the future maybe, eventually people are going to just do concerts in their living rooms and post it on YouTube and get, 1 million hits, and that's, the biggest they can ever
Seems
do?
like it. I know, huh? I don't know. It's like the only thing left to me that seems to be still real is to go to a concert and see real guys playing like they used to, and be like, hey, that's cool. Like, because they do everything else now. I mean, they do everything else on, through the internet, and nobody has to meet each other anymore. And you know what I mean? Everything's like fake almost. Everything's just like fake. Like it's like, but it's I guess it's a future or what? It's like, what happened to walk into a club and see the guy, tuning up his guitar and plugging it in and playing? Like, what about that? Like I don't know. That's at least they have it. At least there's still some people still trying to do that, and I hope that doesn't go away. If you know what I mean. I mean,
these new kids got to start looking at the old Jimi Hendrix documentaries, I think.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you that's like you hit it. You hit it right on the on the head right there. I mean, my students, I have a few guitar students, and I tell them if they don't know, most of them know about, the older guys playing, but I make sure most of these guitar kids, they want to learn, solos, and they like, their dads told them about classic rock and all that stuff, so that's cool. So they're interested, but I put stuff on for them by, Jeff Beck and Hendrix, and, the early stuff, try to educate them and tell them this is where it comes from, and, because they'll come in and say, they just want to do one of these new groups, they're just into them or something, say, and they start playing really, really just all fast and sloppy and fast, and they're just into whatever, some new band, I don't even know what they're called, and I'll be like, okay, that's cool, but you gotta, I don't know, they don't even know where. They don't have any feel for it at all. It's just all like my fingers are moving fast, and they, I try to help them. I try to help them to just slow up and, play like you're speaking, play like you feel. So, I try my best to, on whatever I've learned, I try to just help them like that, tell them, point them in the right direction. And some of them are doing pretty good. It's nice to see them, the younger kids. Some of my students. One kid I got, His name's Jake. Jake Jones. He started with me when he was 13, and then he's like 17 now, and he just got in a band, and he got asked to play on the Warp Tour. He went on a little tour, and for him, I mean, that's like, he was only 17, you know, it's like awesome, you know. He's playing lead guitar for this new group,
Wow.
and he got to go and it was cool. It's cool. I mean, he's all into blues, and he's into everything, you know, like the new stuff, the old stuff. It's awesome to see that, you know, but I just wish some of these younger kids would just not be so close-minded in, like, you know, with equipment, with music, with styles. You know, you don't only have to listen to metal. You don't only have to listen to blues. I mean, you know, let it all in, right?
Right.
I mean, let it all in, and you don't have to love country western. You don't have to buy it or whatever. I don't buy country western, but there's some good guitar players in country stuff that are doing some amazing licks.
Right.
Amazing licks. You know, be open for it and steal a little from everybody. That way you make your own style, right? I
Very
mean,
well said.
you know, what else? What do you think they did? What do you think?
They all copied
You
from
know,
somewhere,
any
you know.
interviews from Eddie Van Halen, or any interviews from Angus Young or Jimi Hendrix, if there's any to hear. I mean, what did they say? I mean, they have their favorite guys that they would, you know, just listen to them and try to interpret what they're doing and do it their own way, and they become them instead of just cloning, being such a copycat, or like, you know, it's cool. It's cool and stuff. Hey, guess what, man? I can play just like Eddie Van Halen. Look, I mean, I guess that's cool, but I don't really get it. You know?
They have to find out their own style and, you know, have feeling and heart into it, you know.
I know. Sometimes they don't. They try to capture somebody else's feeling and heart, and that's fine and dandy, but you know, when they go to play their own music, it just sounds just like, you know, the other guy.
Because they're relying on that other guy, but they're not that other guy, are they? So.
No, so to me, it always kind of sounds like a cheesy interpretation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just does. I mean, these guys think, oh, look. I mean, Eddie Van Halen, that guy. I mean, God, you know, of all guitar players, he's probably the one, at least in the last few years, that people just try to copy the most. I mean, God, you know, I mean, I know he's the greatest guitar player that came around, you know, for sure. You know, I fucking love that guy, but I mean, get off him. let him, you know what I mean? Like do some other shit. Like everybody's like, there's all these like clones. I'm like, I mean, when I went to see Van Halen play, like back when they did that tour a couple years ago with Eddie's son on bass and all that.
Right.
When I went to see that, you know, Eddie, he wasn't playing, you know, like he used to, and for whatever reason, and it was sad because, like, I know kids down the street that were doing Eddie better than himself.
Wow.
And I was like, what? You know, I was like, messed up my head, you know. This isn't right.
You're going to see Eddie Van Halen, but it's not just Eddie Van Halen on stage, is it?
Exactly. I mean, the band was doing pretty good, I thought, you know.
Wow.
But I'm a guitar guy, so I was like, come on, Eddie. You know, and he was just, you know, drunk or something, or whatever his thing is. But I'm the biggest Eddie Van Halen fan in the world, and like anybody else. But I've seen him play like amazing. Like, I mean, since he was like 20 years old, around local, because he's from not too far from where I live, right here. So, you know, he could do no wrong in my book, you know. And it was sad to see him not really play with that much passion, and he just wasn't really playing like he used to attack the guitar. He wasn't playing like that, you know. For whatever reason, I don't know, but I'm just saying. And there's kids down the street that are learning all his old licks and playing them note for note, which is just like a copy of him, you know. So what can you say? You know, it's weird how it goes around in a circle, huh?
Really, it is.
You know, like the generations or whatever you want to call it. You know, it's weird.
So Tracy, before we finish off here, like for your new project, when are we gonna expect something out?
Um, we're hoping we're mixing some stuff down right now, and everything's kind of written. We got about 16 songs to choose from. We'll make a little CD that maybe has 12 songs or so. I don't know. We're gonna pick the 12 songs. I hope right around in a month or two. Hopefully, I'll be able to put some stuff up so people can hear it. And a little thing on the Tracy G group, like I've had the Tracy G group for years, and it always was like in between all my other groups. Like I had a group, I was in a group back in the late '80s, and then I was in this group. The Tracy G group was always my own little group, but I always had it. Most of the time, it was instrumental. We did because I love instrumental music, right?
Hmm.
So I would do things like that, but the other group I was in always usually took more of my time. So then I joined Dio, and in between Dio, I would still like play around with my own little stuff, right? And then after I was out of Dio, I released, the last 10 years, I released a lot of my own Tracy G group, CDs, and it's not just one type of music though. It's metal and it's blues and it's rock and it's funky and some acoustic stuff. It's like all kinds of stuff because it's just that's what I want to do. It's like whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
It's not just one genre of music. So this lineup here, it just so happens that the drummer he sings really good too. So now I don't have to run out and get that lead singer, so to speak, or that front man, because those are difficult to find, really good ones, obviously. So now it's like an instrumental band, but not really, because when we want songs with vocals, the drummer can pull that off too. So now I can mix it up with some songs have vocals, some songs are instrumental, some are heavy, some are bluesy, some are both, some are whatever. So it's a mixture. It's not just blues, so it's not just metal. I think there's something in there for a lot of different styles of music that people might like. People might like something in there that they like. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I hope.
In that sense, it's kind of like the Jeff Beck group, back in the day. Styles
Well,
changed a lot.
Jeff Beck's probably my favorite guitar player in the whole world. And yeah, I'm influenced by him, and I look up to him, and I'm a follower of everything he's done. You know how he's done in his career. He's done all kinds of stuff, sort of.
Yeah.
Like he does. I mean, his music. You know how he just does. You never know. Well, I love that, and I've always been attracted to that, and so that's what I base my influence on, is that kind of thing. Just like no rules really. Like if I want to do a little mellow piece, I want to do a little mellow piece. If I want to do something really heavy, I'll do it. And so hopefully we'll put the CD out. People will give it a chance and listen to it has a lot of different stuff on it. It's not just one thing. I'd say in a month or two though.
Hmm.
Yeah, I hope to have it out and be moving it around and try to get some exposure on it. Try to get some more gigs going with it. So the whole circle of stuff.
That beautiful circle of music
Yeah.
and the music industry online now.
Yeah.
Well,
Pretty
Tracy,
much,
been a pleasure talking to you once again, and hope you have a good
cool,
one there.
bro. Thank you very much, Jason.
All right. Well, you have a good one, and talk to you another day.